Welcome back at 7:13 as we transition into the fall, eventually. Now is the time for homeowners to do a quick checkup to prevent long-term damage from humidity and mold. Of course, this is especially a problem in South Louisiana where moisture is always a concern. Dan Mills with the Home Builders Association of Greater New Orleans is here to share some tips and especially why this matters so much. Dan, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So people at home are probably thinking, I was thinking about cleaning the gutters or making sure this was properly working. I didn't even consider mold. What do people need to be doing with this?
You know, Zach's keeping us dry for the next few days, but we always have moisture down here in South Louisiana. And it's something we have to watch very closely because it can cause damage to your home. It can cause damage to your body. It's a health issue. It's something you have to watch very closely.
So what are the steps people need to take, I guess, to examine the outside and the inside of their homes to ensure there's no mold or mildew or moisture damage?
An ounce of prevention goes a long way. And one of the most important things to look for is the air conditioning system.
Okay.
You know, we don't think about changing that air filter, but when that air filter gets filled, it slows down the airflow and that cuts the efficiency of your air conditioner. So that's a really big deal. But another one that's hidden is the drain.
Okay.
So the air conditioner has a condensation drain and those clog up regularly. So you have to check those at least once a year because once that starts clogging up, it will overflow and you can get water pooling in hidden areas. And then this can become a big problem and you might not even know for a significant period of time.
Until you start to see mold coming through your ceiling or through a wall and you're wondering where it's coming from. Is
That's
that right? Anything else people can do? I mean, some of these are bigger, well, smaller projects. Changing your AC filters is pretty small. Getting your AC system serviced, that's not a huge deal. But what are some maybe easier things that you need to be doing right away?
Doing that visual inspection around your house is really important. When you see that condensation is appearing anywhere, you need to really pay close attention to that because there's a reason. Probably there's not any airflow, so just having a fan can help a lot to move because stagnant air is where that humidity is going to concentrate.
I've been seeing more often the commercials for, and you see them in the stores, the hardware stores, those humidity trappers, if you will. They're little tiny buckets and they have what looks like a bag in them and they stick in the closet or the laundry room. What are your thoughts on those? Do those help at all?
They're fantastic, especially for those low airflow areas, you know. So we don't have basements in this part of the country, but sometimes we have closets, and especially if the closets are on the outside perimeter of the home, that might be a good idea to put in there.
And maybe what are some bigger long-term things you should put on your to-do list to ensure you have done before we get into the fall and of course the winter season?
I think the big thing is if you do find some, you need to take a look at it. If it's small, you know what? A good old dab of vinegar is going to take care of that really well. But if you have any kind of significant amount of mold anywhere in your home, you really need to pay very close attention. So in addition to having your air conditioner inspected, if you find that mold, you need to find a mold remediation or a water mitigation licensed contractor. They're listed on the Louisiana State Licensing Board, or you can find them in our member directory at hbagno.org.
I'm glad you ended with your website for people who are like, I need to call so many people. There's some things I've been noticing or ignoring. I need to get handled before we get into this.
It's one of those things we miss, but we've got to watch for. It's very important.
Well, thank you for coming in with those reminders as we, as I said, eventually get into the fall season. Let's get over to Zach Fradella, who's about to tell us